in these trials, you've been doing these 6-month follow-ups, right? After the actual sessions
Mm,
to see if people have kind of, I guess, if there's been remission in the depression or otherwise. And so would you say there's a spectrum of people who stay kind of recovered from depression and other people where it comes back, and that relates to the integration process?
yes, yeah. I don't know that it always relates to the integration. You know,
Mm.
sometimes people, we haven't, well, I haven't carried, I don't know, I think maybe Ashley's carrying the 6-month interviews and we don't know what the results of them are. But I know on the first trial, so a few people, I mean, it's usually, I mean, it was 19, I think maybe 2 or 3 were depression free at 6 months. So it's, you know, a small number that have this transformative experience where it's shifted. But I think it's kind of unrealistic to expect that one high dose psychedelic experience will transform someone's life. You know, I think it may be a case of like 6 sessions over a year with therapy. Perhaps you could really do the work. But having said that, there are some people who have, you know, incredibly transformative experiences. But on the whole, I think the depression comes back usually at around the 6-month mark. And then it's, you know, what people, I mean, I think they've started a different healing process, a different journey. But unfortunately, because of the legality of psychedelics, that it's kind of stopped, it's truncated. We can't continue to do the work. I mean, maybe they could do holotropic breath work, or some people, I imagine, go to retreats in Holland and continue the work. But yeah, I suppose at the moment what's difficult is that we can't give further sessions. So we've kind of started people off on this healing journey, and it's like, how do they continue it?
Yeah, that's a real shame. Hopefully that will change in the
Yes,
years coming.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like something as well that is maybe hard to intervene in, but that could be a major factor in these changes not lasting as long as they might, is you know, imagine if someone's living in a situation, perhaps the depression might be due to being in an emotionally abusive relationship or something like that. If they return to that environment,
Mm,
suddenly it's no surprise 6 months later they've been dragged back down into, you know, and there's a real logic to
mm-hmm.
it. It's the problem isn't with them. It's you know, it's like it's arising out of the context of their life,
Yeah.
right? So I guess that really, as you were saying, imagining a year of therapy with multiple sessions where people are really growing into a new way of being in the world where it makes sense for them to not be
Mm-hmm.
depressed. You know, I feel like that's probably crucial.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you're absolutely right that, and in a way, we don't have the structures or the frameworks to embed the psychological, I mean, the psychedelic
Yeah.
experience in our society and culture at the moment. You know, it's with indigenous tribes, the whole community were down with it. It was fine. You could have a psychedelic experience. It was a rite of passage. So with the stigma still attached, so, you know, say if you come from a very ordinary psychedelic naive environment, to go back and not have anyone to talk to about this transformative mystical experience can be very alienating. So even though
Yeah.
it may have given you that sense of deeper connection, if you don't have the support or people who are interested in your experience, then it can just be something, I suppose, that gets kind of pushed down.